And out front this evening, the breaking news. Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is now out of surgery for a fractured skull. This after police say an intruder broke into their home overnight and attacked with a hammer. That intruder also attempted to tie Mr. Pelosi up, quote, until Nancy got home. This is according to sources. Now, Speaker Pelosi was in Washington at this time, but sources tell CNN the intruder repeatedly asked, "Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy?" in the rampage. Now, the suspect is now identified as 42-year-old David DePape of California. He is facing charges of attempted homicide, as well as burglary, assault with a deadly weapon, and elder abuse. I'm going to talk to the district attorney in charge of the case in just a moment. Relatives are telling CNN DePape had a Facebook page full of conspiracy theories. These theories were about the 2020 election and January 6th specifically. That image there was on one of them. And 2 blogs written by a user with the same name of the suspect that we found have anti-Semitic screens and QAnon-linked content, including videos with pictures of Speaker Pelosi in them. And now this extremely disturbing attack coming just 11 days before Election Day, leaders from both parties expressing outrage in a rare show of unity. Vice President Harris says she's appalled by the attack, and the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted he was horrified and disgusted. Now, lawmakers from both parties are also warning that this is now an ominous sign, a signal about what still lies ahead.
It reminds me of January 6th, because when the insurrectionists broke in the Capitol, one of the first places they went was to the Speaker's office. It just shows us the danger that our democracy is in.
This is what happens when you convince a third of the country that the election was stolen and that the other side is an enemy. This isn't how democracies work. This isn't how self-governance works. We're in a bad moment.
Out front now, Josh Campbell. He is outside the Pelosi home in San Francisco. Josh, what else are investigators learning about this attack and the suspect here?
Well, Aaron, this individual appears to be the exact type of person that is law enforcement's worst nightmare. It's what they've been warning about. People who not only consume so many of these conspiracy theories, but also appears to be predisposed to violence. As you mentioned, this individual's social media presence contained numerous conspiracy theories about the election, about January 6th, about COVID vaccines. He reposted information from Mike Lindell, the election-denying pillow salesman. And again, he's accused of coming here to the home of Speaker Nancy Pelosi in the early morning hours today, turning this residence behind me into a crime scene.
82-year-old Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, undergoing surgery today after being violently attacked with a hammer early Friday morning at the Pelosi San Francisco home. Speaker Pelosi was in Washington at the time.
Special call medic 66, location.
Police say they found Paul Pelosi fending off an attacker after responding to a request for a priority well-being check at the Pelosi home.
They encountered an adult male and Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it.
The assailant was searching for the speaker, according to a source briefed on the attack. He confronted Mr. Pelosi, shouting, "Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy?"
Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid.
2 sources familiar with the investigation tell CNN the attacker hit Pelosi and attempted to tie him up after breaking into the back of the home around 2:30 a.m. A suspect, 42-year-old David DePape, is now in custody. His Facebook page, now taken down, had posts of memes and conspiracy theories about the 2020 election and the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol. Not long ago, Nancy Pelosi was a target of the January 6 rioters, with them hunting for her and trashing her office. The motive for Friday's attack on her husband is not yet known.
Mr. DePape will be booked at the San Francisco County Jail on the following charges: attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, burglary, and several other additional felonies.
The Speaker's office issued a statement saying Mr. Pelosi is expected to make a full recovery. Now, Aaron, the residence behind me here was flooded with law enforcement throughout much of the day. Police as well as FBI agents, they appear to be near completing their processing of evidence for the day. Of course, this comes as we're learning new information about why these officers were brought to this location to begin with. CNN's John Miller and Jamie Gangel are reporting that Paul Pelosi was able to call 911 at the start of this attack and was speaking in code. As he engaged with this attacker, it was an adept dispatcher who realized that something was wrong. They sent police here to this location. They were able to ultimately tackle the suspect. Again, he remains in custody. Authorities say they expect him to face multiple charges, including attempted homicide and assault. Aaron.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. And as Josh was speaking, we do have a development. Our Dana Bash is reporting that the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, is now in San Francisco, and she is at the hospital with her husband, Paul, right now as I speak. So she has obviously gotten from Washington back to San Francisco, and she's there at the hospital. I want to go now to the San Francisco District Attorney, Brooke Jenkins. And District Attorney Jenkins, I appreciate your time. We understand the suspect is facing quite a few charges. Attempted murder is the most serious. What more are you able to tell us about this incident and what DePape planned to do?
Yes, and thank you. And first, I just want to extend our support and our prayers to Speaker Pelosi and her family, and we truly hope for a speedy recovery for Mr. Pelosi. But what I can tell you is much of what you have already reported, which is that this individual forced his way into the Pelosi home before eventually attacking Mr. Pelosi with a hammer before officers could intervene. And so he is facing attempted murder charges once we've reviewed this case, but that appears to be which direction we're headed, as well as assault with a deadly weapon and residential burglary.
So we've also discovered 2 blogs, District Attorney, with the same name of the suspect on these blogs, QAnon-linked content, a video that showed Pelosi during one of former President Trump's impeachments. Do you know anything about the suspect's motive or how long he planned this? I mean, do you have any of this information in hand yet?
No, that is a part of the ongoing investigation right now, both between the San Francisco Police Department and the FBI.
So sources tell CNN the suspect, you talk about he broke in and then attacked, eventually attacked Mr. Pelosi. We understand he was saying, "Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy?" And that he then tried to tie Paul Pelosi up, in his words, until Nancy got home. You mentioned that it seems likely the direction this is going is these murder charges. Is there any question in your mind right now that he was intending to kill Nancy Pelosi?
Right now, as I said, we don't know all of the facts just yet. We are still in the middle of a proceeding investigation. And so some of those details of what was going on in the home prior to the police arriving are still things that we're trying to flush out. But we do know that at the point at which the police arrived, he did turn and use that hammer against the Speaker's husband in a manner that appeared that he was intending to kill him.
And it was obviously very significant that they saw that and that it certainly indicated intent to murder. We've learned that part of the reason that this even possibly didn't end in such a horrific way was that Paul Pelosi called 911 at the beginning of the attack and was able to leave the phone line open even as he and the attacker continued to interact. One source says the suspect's struggle with Pelosi was then captured on police body camera as they came through the door to intervene, that this attack that you're referring to is actually on camera. What more are you able to tell me, District Attorney, if anything, about that 911 call or the body cam video?
All I can tell you right now is that it is really thanks to Mr. Pelosi having the ability to be able to make that call and truly the attention and the instincts of that dispatcher to realize that something was wrong in that situation and to make the police call a priority so that they got there within 2 minutes to respond to this situation. And so we do have to give her great credit for her responsiveness. Yes. And for the police responsiveness.
Have police been able to speak to the suspect yet?
They have been able to speak with him, but again, like I said, given the investigation is still ongoing, none of that information is being released at this time.
You can't share that. Are you able to tell us anything about what condition the suspect is in?
He did sustain some minor injuries, but that's all I can say.
Minor injuries. All right. Well, District Attorney, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for sharing what you were able to share. Thanks.